morning, 1 a.m. in London town, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan, where they're having breakfast right now. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan. Welcome aboard. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're here every Thursday at this time. And we bring you all kinds of great conversation as we do it. We're here for a whole hour, and we hope that if this is your first time watching us, it doesn't be your last time because we would like to have all of you aboard at any time. Now, we get you involved in conversation as we always do. We rope you right in there. And all I have to do is just maybe start off a conversation that'll get the party going. And then as we move along, if there's something that you want to talk about, by all means, display it. I will see it right there on the big screen and I will acknowledge you and we'll get things off and running. Thank you so much for joining us today. And it only seems like yesterday since we've been here, but we're here and we thank you so much. We want you to stay with us because right throughout the show, we're going to have a lot of features. Well, not a lot of features, but we have the usual. As a matter of fact, not too long from now, minutes from now, Brian Kent will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports with Sports Update. And he's here every week and he does that. He's going to bring you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And he has a lot to talk about. And so do we about sports. I got to tell you, we came a long way because talking about sports, all of the arenas, all of, the stadiums, everything is coming to full capacity now. And I noticed one of my favorite things is wrestling. And I noticed that pretty soon they're going to be to full capacity. As a matter of fact, sometime this month, maybe in a couple of weeks, WWE is going on the road and they're going to be performing in front of a live audience. So things are taking shape and getting back to normal, at least. And it's thankful to all of the people that we're applauding right now. We're applauding all of those people. First of all, that applause is for you for being here each week too. But also, we would like to applaud all of the people, like the doctors and the nurses and all other hospital personnel for being part of us and taking care of all of us as we run this pandemic, which is not exactly over yet. We're still in the middle of it, but things are starting to take shape. And we're making sure that everybody is healthy and everybody is strong. And they did that. They helped us out. And can't forget about all of those other people, those important people like the first responders, the firefighters, the police officers, and all of those people also who have been working on their essential positions, the mom and pop stores and all other people who were there the whole time, never took a day off from work, stood right there for all of us, grocery stores, the supermarket, all of those fine merchants, everybody. So thank you so much for being that. And we want to tell you that we have a number, as you could always see. If you look up, if you're watching Facebook, hello, Facebook. Thanks for joining us. As we also simulcast with YouTube each week. Hello, YouTube. If you look up there, Facebook, up in the area where I like to call it the central area, which is called the subject area. And up in the subject area, and for those of you who are watching on YouTube, look in the chat area, way at the top. And you'll see I have the information on the number that I give each week. It's COVID number. It's called COVID-19 test. And you see it right there. And we display it there each week until this whole thing is over. And next to it, you'll see there's a telephone number. I don't have to give it to you, but I will. It's 718-638-7682. You'll see it up there. It will be displayed there each day that the show is on. And even if you're not watching us in real time, for some people, they don't watch us in real time. So what they do, they come back and they'll get a chance to watch us, at the rerun. It will be there just as well. You can always take that number down. You can contact anyone and ask questions about COVID-19, which a lot of people have questions about. Gives you information on how you can get the test, which is only a 5-second test. That's a COVID-19 test. And even all of the shots, we're talking about the COVID-19 shots. And you have 3 vaccinations on the market, right? We have J&J, which is Johnson & Johnson. We have the Moderna, and we also have Pfizer. Now, the J&J vaccine is only a one-shot deal for those of you who have taken it. And for the Moderna and, of course, the Pfizer, there's a two-shot deal right there. Now, you can go in a lot of places and get these shots. And as unlike as before, there are certain places where you just walk right in and take it. Just walk right in there before you had to have an appointment. Now, some places do have an appointment that you have to have, and what they'll do is tell you when to come back. But if you don't need an appointment, you walk right in there. They'll give it to you, and just take whatever they give you. Let's say whatever's available to you in your area, whether it's Moderna, whether it's Pfizer, whether it's J&J. Take one of them, and they're all effective vaccinations. And we urge you to do that. I keep pushing that. Now, a lot of people are still on the fence about taking a vaccination. I hope that you know, find it in your mind to do that. Now, some people don't take it for certain reasons, maybe religious reasons, health reasons, you know, or any other kind of personal reason. But if you possibly find it in your mind to take it, because the more people take this vaccination, the better off we just flatten this thing down completely. We want to get all of that over with. For those of you who haven't taken the vaccination, please continue to use the precautions that they always tell you about, and that's wearing your mask and, of course, keeping the 6 feet. Now, they say now, if you are fully vaccinated, there's not much need for a mask, but we advise you to take the mask with you wherever you go, because there are certain places where you have to go where they're going to have to require it. If you go into a merchant, you'll see sometimes they have on the door a sign that says no mask, no service. If you're taking public transportation, you're going to need it. If you're going to fly, you're going to need it. So keep all of that in mind. But for the other parts, you know, if you're all alone on you, just walking down the street, you know, you could take it off, because now they're saying that you can go in certain places, indoors, outdoors, and you don't have to wear a mask, and you can be with loved ones. But, you know, it's always good to be around people who are also fully vaccinated. That's even more of a secure bet for you. So, you know, we have all of those situations for you. So, you know, keep all of that in mind and proceed with caution. And that's what you do. Now, I have also a number, if you're living in New York City, which a lot of people do, like myself. We have, I see more people are coming in, so I just want to say hi to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on Talkback Live. If you have you're taking the information that I give you, here's another piece of information. If you're living in New York, right, you have what we call the 311 number. It's another information number. Now, this number is strictly New York. Just like the number I gave you, the 917, the 718 number, it's a local number, but that 718 number will also give you information on you know, where to go to get the tests and things like that. But if you're living in New York City, the 311 number, that's strictly New York, and it gives you all kinds of information about New York, anything that you want to know, like places to go, people to see, the best restaurants, you know, the best places for lounging around, or, you know, just, you know, going to jazz clubs or whatever you like. They have all of that information. Also, that number can give you information if you have, let's say, complaints or something about anything. Maybe there's a pothole in the street that you would like fixed, and you're a good Samaritan. You want to call them and say, there's a pothole here, give them the location, and they'll have that straightened out for you. If you have some kind of information in your building where you live, where people, you know, kind of make noise and they just won't let up. And if your landlord or your supervisor, or, well, I would just say super, they're unwilling or unable to do anything about it, call them and they'll give you advice too. So there's all kinds of information on how you can do that. So anyway, you have that information, and that information, by the way, all of the information I just gave you, I told you about, it's up there. You know, the numbers is up there. The 311 number, of course, it's not up there, but, you know, you get that. Now, here's another website. Now, a lot of you, wherever you are, wherever you may be, you have local numbers. All you have to do is just Google it to find out. You have local numbers. Everybody do. And, of course, local websites, too. Now, here's one in New York. Being that I'm living in New York, I have a New York website right now. It's called NYC.FEMA. Vaccinelist.com. That's nyc.vaccinelist.com. And they'll give you a list of places where you can go get vaccinated. Maybe your primary doctor has, a supply of the vaccines, and they can give it to you right there. And there's other places, like I said, pharmacists. You can go there, and there are drive-bys, drive-throughs, and you can get it there. But for the most part, now, a big percent of people have gotten vaccinated. And so therefore, there are places where you go, as I said, that will take care of you. All you have to do is just walk right in there. So that's the way it goes right now. Okay, thank you again. I see more people coming there, so I just want to wave to you guys, Facebook, YouTube. Thank you guys for being along with us. Boy, we had some iffy weather here in New York. I don't know about where you are, but I do know the hurricane, this is hurricane season now, or we're coming up to hurricane season. And of course, the storms are reaching certain parts of the coast, especially on the East Coast. I'm not sure about what's going on the West Coast, but I know here on the East Coast is a hurricane that hits certain places. I know we're getting portions of it here in New York, heavy rains, downpours, and we've been getting a lot of warm weather. And the weather here in New York was pretty warm itself, but the thing was, it wasn't as warm as for the past few days that we had, but we were like way up there, way top 90s as far as 99 degrees, which with the humidity made it feel like 105 degrees. So it's not that way right now, but the rain, we had a good downpour today. It got so dark outside in the middle of the day, you would thought it was nighttime. But things are starting to cool down here. What about the weather in your area? I hope everything is fine. And later on in the program also, we're going to give you, of course, we do what we do. We give you the information on today in history. We'll tell you about that. And later on, give you our movie picks, which is on movies, those classic movies that I love so much. And we like to share them with you. I use only my picks. And I'll tell you about that and tell you about other things that are happening for the upcoming weekend. And the weekend is going by so quick. I hope you had a great holiday, 4th of July holiday. As you already know, this is a short week for all of us. And here we are, Thursday already. Tomorrow is Friday, and they're getting ready to wrap up another week and go into another weekend. Times really go fast, but I hope that you do enjoy it. And of course, we're here, as you already know, officially summer, and everything is taking place and looking good. So anyway, what's your take on what's happening for the weekend? What are you going to do? I hope, whatever you're going to do, you do it in a good health. And I see more people are coming in. So I say hi to you guys. And if you have anything to say, please, we'll get it out there for you. And we'll share conversation together. Brian Camp will be here in a couple of minutes, as I said, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. And I'm going to, when he comes in, I'm going to talk to him about my Yankees. I'm going to share with him about that. They're not doing too well. And and they, of course, as you already know, last week, they already had the Subway Series between the Yankees and the Mets. And the Mets took 2 games out of those 3 games. So, hey, listen, if you're a Met fan, congratulations to you. Thank you. I just thought, sure, maybe we had a chance. But something, I'm not going to downplay anything. Yankees are having a bad year this year. They're really having a bad year this year. Although I got to tell you, I've been with them ever since I'm 14 years old, and I'm not going to turn around now. So if you're a real fan of a baseball team, you don't want to just drop out because they're having a bad year. And there are a lot of games. They're behind a lot of games. And I'm just praying that they just somehow get the streak going, get some kind of, just rally and get some kind of streak going, some kind of good winning streak where they can get there. The Mets are doing well. They're well in first place. So Mets, congratulations. You see, there's a rival in New York. There's a rival. The Yankees and the Mets is a rival there, but I like to be a little classy and say congratulations to all of you Met guys. I don't hate you. I'm not angry at you. I'm happy for you. So there you go. You won most of the games in the Subway Series, but like they always say, the old cliche, there's always next year. I don't know. It's 15 minutes past the hour right now. And of course, if you're just joining us right now, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and we're here every Thursday. And just in case you're just joining us for the very first time, uh, make it a weekly habit for us. We're here every Thursday. And no matter where you are around the world, you can always pick us up. We always simulcast each week between Facebook and YouTube. All of you guys together, thank you so much. And this was once a radio show, but it's now transitioned to TV. And so, since we're transitioned to TV, we might as well say, okay, you know something, we're going to simulcast. Just like we did the same thing we do on the coffee hour, we simulcast. You know, we kind of fix it so if you not on Facebook, you could always pick us on YouTube. So either one, it's good, and that's the way we enjoy it. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to keep swinging along. And those of you, I see more people coming in. So thank you guys for checking us out. There's my Facebook people. You know, those are the regular people with Facebook people. We're still trying to get more people coming out of YouTube. We're trying to make a regular thing. We're still not there quite where we want to be with them, and we're trying to rope them in. So, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, but you know, a lot of times, the viewers on YouTube, what they do is that they usually catch the show on rerun as opposed to watching live. So if you're watching us on reruns, just check us out each week here live, and then you could be part of the action here. You could be part of the conversation, and you know it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We always try to make it a fun show. It's now 17 minutes past the hour here on the show, and I always say past the hour because in your area it may be something different. Of course, if you're on the West Coast, we're 3 hours different. And of course, you already know that. And you could be overseas somewhere, so you have a whole hour. But always remember that every time we come on, we always come on Eastern. So it's Eastern time. Therefore, you could always check that out. And what you can do is just act accordingly, being that we're Eastern. Okay, coming along, sports with Brian Camp. He didn't chime in yet, but I'm pretty sure he'll chime in just a few seconds. He's probably a little late. Now, DJ Pete, one of the guys, he's on with us tomorrow. He's not on the show tonight, but he's usually on with us. And I have to find out if he's going to be with us on the coffee hour tomorrow, because as you know, he's been working, and we always encourage him. And sometimes he can't make it, but whatever, if he can't make it, he always sends us information so we can do his portion of the show. And he gives us that entertainment news, and he sends it in to us. So we're going to have to see what happens. He didn't send in anything just yet, but we're going to see how it happens. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I don't know if it's storming out there. It was storming here. Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports. How's it going out there, Brian?
Well, it's 84 degrees. Well, I take that back. 75 degrees right now. It's a sun shower. We've been reducing the sun shower, but it was raining all day today. Came down heavy. I think the hurricane has a lot to do with that, but now the sun had peaked out a couple of hours ago. The sun is still out, but now we're having it's raining now, but the sun is out, so we call that a sun shower. So, but it's very nice, 75 degrees and sunny, but raining. So I don't know how you want to say if that's good or bad, but I think anytime when the sun comes out, it's always a good thing.
Well, we had sun this morning, early this morning, and it wasn't until late in the afternoon. That's when everything got dark. It looked like nighttime out there, and then there was a big downpour. But they said it was going to happen, so we weren't really surprised when it did happen here.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It was cloudy this morning. It was cloudy, though. It was dark clouds for sure. Mm-hmm. Very, very dark clouds. So. But, you want to talk about your dreadful Yankees, huh? They going through a tough time. I don't know how to put it, but maybe they're just not that good this year. I know that when they play the Mets, I think that when the Mets and the Yankees meet together, it's more meaningful than the Mets than it is for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yankees have 27 World Championships. The Mets only have 2 or 3 or 2.
Yeah.
So I guess that it's more meaningful for the Mets to beat and shine the Yankees and everything.
Yeah.
No matter how many times the Mets beat the Yankees, this is still a New York Yankee town because they've been here the longest.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing like in basketball with the Knicks and the Nets.
Yeah.
The Nets may be better, but it's still a New York Knicks town.
Yeah.
Same thing in hockey with the Rangers and the Islanders and the Devils. It's still a New York Ranger town.
Mm-hmm.
And in football, same thing. New York Giants, New York Jets. It's New York Giants town.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever's been here the longest, has been successful the most, that's whose town it is. So
I can't understand why they just didn't. The Jets are in New Jersey, but they still call it the New York Jets. What? Listen, who am I to say?
Well, they're both in Jersey.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But who am I to say?
They're both in Jersey. I mean, the New York Giants football team used to play at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And the New York Jets used to play at Shea Stadium.
Yeah.
Queens and Bronx. But yeah, in the 70s and 60s and 70s, it was, it was good to see Joe Namath and Jets around the infield and Shea Stadium. And you could see the background of the and you could see the diamond being still laid out. So, and same thing with the Yankees and the Giants. When the football Giants play. So so it's now everything is in a dome. Everything is now football only and everything. I like it the old days. I like it cold weather where it's muddy and rainy and snowy, and you can see the breathing, the breath coming out their mouths and out their nostrils, and it was physical football. They play with broken toes and fingers. Now it's just a sophisticated sport. All sports.
What are you gonna do?
But so that's where we at right now. But let me get the sports right quick. Hope everybody's 4th of July was well. But unfortunately, in sports it wasn't. In the NHL, Columbus Blue Jacket, that's the name of the team, goalie Matis Kavlanicki has died from fireworks. It was an accident. He died from a chest trauma from an errant fireworks that was mortar blast and from a fall. Police in Novi, Michigan said that the multi-style firework tilted slightly and started to fire toward people. Now, the victim was in a hot tub and tried to get clear with several other people. The initial autopsy determined that he had died from a percussive injury caused by a powerful blast from the fireworks, which triggered major damage to his heart and lungs, according to police. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. So, for years, our parents always tell us, stay away from those fireworks. Going to blow off a finger, blow off a thumb. I remember Pierre Paul, I think that's his name for the New York Giants, football player, was in fireworks and blew off his thumb. And for the remainder of his career, he's played with only one thumb. And, and the hand that he played, it was always still wrapped up to this very, very day. So if you don't know what you're doing with the fireworks, leave it alone. You could get hurt or you could die from it, as we just mentioned. So we got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, says is can't confirm a discrimination allegation by Eugene Chung, a former NFL offensive lineman, claimed of discriminatory comments during his interview for a coaching job. Now, Chung told the Boston Globe in May that he was told he was not the right minority by an interview. Chung, who is a Korean American, refused to identify the team and says he wasn't trying to call anyone out. Now, the reason why he's not doing this, my guess, and it's obvious that you could tell, he don't want to call out the team because in the near future he might be wanting to go look for a coaching job and get a coaching job, but he has filed a complaint with the NFL saying that they can't confirm it. So this is where we are after celebrating 245 years of independence for our country, and we're still going through this. We're still going through hatred and bigotry and racism, and it's not only towards blacks, but it's towards the Asian people or any other ethnic group that shows hate and disgust. You know, come on. America's been blessed for 245 years. America, we could do better than this. Yeah. This is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, on the planet, and this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we just hope that things work out. In Major League Baseball, investigate Trevor Bauer's sexual assault in a domestic violence restraining order filed against Bauer last Monday. The woman accused Bauer of strangling her to a point of unconsciousness during sex on multiple occasions. Repeatedly punched her in the face during sex and left her with injuries that require hospitalization. Bauer has denied the accusation. Investigators are digging into Bauer's history and question whether that there have been other incidents at some point. Now, Major League Baseball officials would like to speak to Bauer directly. Now, the Dodgers canceled Trevor Bauer's bobblehead night scheduled for August 19th and have removed all his merchandise from the team online store. So you're innocent until proven guilty, but in this case, I think what they're doing is they want to take away his merchandise that's selling online until this thing is cleared up. If he's clear from these charges, Bauer should get everything back online, get everything that so deservingly belongs to him. Shohei Ohtani breaks Hideki Matsui's home run record by a Japanese player in a major league season. Matsui set the mark with the Yankees in 2004. So Ohtani hit his 32nd home run the other night. So congratulations to him. He's the modern day Babe Ruth player. I can't say that too loud because social media do not like anybody being threatened towards the greatness of Babe Ruth. Can't come near him. They lose their mind. I've been cursed out many times. I've been called all sorts of names. So, you know, Babe Ruth is a sacred name in the social media world, especially on the sports. Track and field. U.S. track field star Gwen Barry, as I mentioned last week, whose Olympic trials came in third, is under fire for response of not standing for the national anthem. She turned away from the American flag and placed a T-shirt over her head, and she's been really taking a lot of heat. Her thing is that she's only supporting her people, which she's African American, and feel that the third verse of the national anthem, which is the Star Spangled Banner, has some disturbing words to it of slavery, and you know, you have some time to look it up. I've looked it up and everything, and she has a point. A lot of people in recent years have been really upset over the Star Spangled Banner, and you know, it's something that this is her beliefs, and we're hoping that this will be rectified. Now, also the big news, also still, Carrie Richardson's banned from the Olympic roster, had tested positive for marijuana. This will cost her a chance at running on the relay team and her spot in the 100-meter individual race in Tokyo, Japan. Now, the Summer Olympics starts July 23rd in Tokyo, Japan. Now, the positive test nullified her win at the Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon last month. Now, Richardson did admit she did take marijuana and apologize for it and say that she didn't know about this and was. But in her defense, she's saying her father had passed away and she did smoke it, but it is legal in the state of Oregon to smoke marijuana. But it is banned by the U.S. anti-doping agency in hours before the race. Now, the USADA says what it does, it enhances the performance. 2, it poses health risks. 3, it violates the spirit of the sport. Now, Nike Sneakers has decided to still stand by her for the other relay races. One thing about Nike, you got to understand, Nike Sneakers stand by athletes. They stand by a lot of the athletes who do not want to do not want to stand for the flag. Kaepernick is another one. They stood by him. Nike does this for a lot of the athletes, especially mainly African American athletes, and so Nike is standing by her. But there's a chance that she might come back for this 30-day suspension. We don't know yet; it's still pending. But she's suspended for 30 days. And speaking about the Olympics, we just found out today that they are banning all participants, all the people that want to come in, the fans and everything. They're banning them because there's another spike in Japan. There's a COVID spike, and there's no fans allowed. So we're not over this virus yet. So you just still have to be very careful with this virus. This day, July 8th, 1889, John L. Sullivan knocks out Jay Kyrie in 75 rounds. Imagine fighting a fight in 75 rounds. And this was the last bare knuckle bout. 1889. Boy, you're talking about fighting somebody without no gloves for 75 rounds. That's, you know what? That's like in the old days it was 15 rounds per fight. That's like having like 5 fights. So, and that was the last fight. In 1902, John McGraw accused by Van Johnson of trying to wreck Baltimore and Washington clubs. Van Johnson is the founder of Major League Baseball American League. In 1946, Major League Baseball grants $5,000 minimum salary. Wow, $5,000 minimum in 1946. 1949, Monty Irvin and Hank Thompson is the first black players for the New York Giants, now known as the San Francisco Giants, and they lost to the Brooklyn Dodgers at Ebbets Field 4-3. In 2015, the NFL Washington Redskins had their trademark vacated on the grounds that they caused offensive to Native Americans. That was not too long ago. They had to, vacated that. Birthdays. 1931, Roone Ulrich, born in New York City, American sports broadcaster, pioneer, president of ABC Monday Night Football and ABC Sports, celebrated a birthday. He passed away in 2002. 1970, Todd Munn, American tennis star, born in Hinsdale, Illinois. Famous weddings. Mr. October, Reginald Martinez Jackson, he's a Hall of Famer, Major League Baseball. 22 weds his college sweetheart, Jenny Campos. In 1977, NFL coach and former player, 37 years old, what's his name? Just slips my mind. Anyway, he weds Diane Grantham in Dallas County, Texas. I'll get to the name as soon as I get off. But that's sports, and there you have it.
I want to get back to those Yankees. Here's a thing. The Yankees actually have never really been the same since George Steinbrenner passed away. I'm not saying they were bad after that, but it's just like, because we really knew how George Steinbrenner was. The guy paid you the big bucks. He spared no expenses. He wasn't a cheap guy. He paid you the money. The only thing that he asked is that you play the game. And now it seems like the players, I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm just saying they just don't have that push, that drive like they once had before. And that's
there's no question about it. Since he did die, the Yankees have not been the same. They haven't won a World Series since 2009, I believe it was. 2009, 2010, I think it was. Yeah. They have not won. 2009, yes. They have not won. And this is like one of the longest droughts, second longest drought for them not to win. Remember
Yeah.
when George Steinbrenner took and brought the New York Yankees in 1973? They won their first World Series under him in 1977.
Yeah.
So George Steinbrenner was a person that was not afraid to spend money. He bought players, he bought championships,
Mm-hmm.
but his son is taking over. Has not been doing what he was supposed to be doing, and you know, the Yankees high expectation. They got to win every year. If they don't win, it's a failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, even though that George Steinbrenner, he was like a thorn in the side to the Yankee fans, but he got the Yankees rings. He got them a lot of rings, and I only wish that they could just come back, and maybe they will. Maybe they will. Maybe when this season is over, they could all get back, regroup, and find out what they go back and go to and go to the drawing board and find out why we're not winning. What's wrong?
well, it's also it's not only George Steinbrenner. You also got to the farm in
Yeah,
Double A and Triple A. If
yeah,
you don't have young players coming up, you can't buy everything. You
yeah,
can't buy players
yeah,
who's in their prime. You got to. Derek Jeter came from the farm system.
yeah,
All these guys, Mario Rivera. All
yeah,
these guys.
yeah,
So if you don't, come up with a decent farm, and then you're left out. So it's important to have good scouting, good drafting,
yeah.
and if you don't, you just don't win.
Well, like I said last week, I'm married to them, for better or worse.
For better or for worse, till death do you part. I know.
I'll catch you tomorrow, Brian.
All right, take
You
care.
take care. That's Brian Camp, as he's here each week with the latest developments in today's world of sports update. And thank him for that. He's going to be with us tomorrow on the Coffee Hour, along with DJ Pete, too. We have the 2020 feature, and we bring that to you. Thank you guys for being along with us. And if you're just joining us right now at this very moment, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Everything is Eastern for a whole hour of conversation. And I see more people are coming in, so I want to thank you guys. We always simulcast between Facebook and YouTube, and so if you don't catch us on one, there's the other one. We try to branch out as much as we can. So thank you so much for being along with us. Uh, yeah, we're gonna get those Yankees back in order. We'll get them back in order. I'm gonna use my brain power and just close my eyes and exude, positive thoughts about the Yankees. So maybe something will happen. Maybe they'll come along. Okay, let's see, it's 21 and a half minutes to the hour right now, and of course we're going to be here till for the next few minutes. And right now, on this day in history, in 1835, the Liberty Bell cracked again. I didn't even know it cracked twice. It says cracked again, back in 1935. On this year in history, 1889. Did I say 1935? Liberty Bell. It was 1835. Okay, 1839. The Wall Street Journal begins its publication. On this day in history, back in 1949, South Africa's prohibition of mixed marriages acts commerce, prohibiting marriage or sexual relationships between white people and people of other races. On this day in history in 1950, General Douglas MacArthur named Commander-in-Chief of the UN Force of Korea, or in Korea. Back in this day in 1969, U.S. troop withdrawal begins in Vietnam. On this day in history in 1971, U.S. performs a nuclear test at Nevada test site. On this day in history in 1975, U.S. President Gerald Ford announced he will be seeking Republican presidential nomination. Back in 1982, Seven Brides and Seven Brothers opens at the Alvin Theater in New York City for 5 performances. And back in 1988, Stevie Wonder announces he will run for mayor of Detroit in 1992. In 1996, British girls group. It's a British girl group called Spice Girls. We all know the Spice Girls, my favorite kind of British group, of course. They released their debut single, Wannabe, in the UK in 2010. Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan, and stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It premieres in London. Musician Louis Jordan, one of the big jazz musicians back in his day. He was born on this day in 1908, and he was born in Brinkley, Arkansas. He died February 4th back in 1975 at the age of 66 of a heart attack. Nelson Rockefeller was born on this day in 1908, and he was born in Bar Harbor, Maine. And of course, he died January 26, 1979, at the age of 70, also from a heart attack. Angelica Houston was born on this day in 1951. Actress Angelica Houston, 1951, born on this day. She's 69 today. Country singer Toby Keith, born on this day in 1961. He comes out of Clinton, Oklahoma. He's 59 today. And back in 1942, British-born actor Cary Grant weds American heiress and socialite Barbara Hutton. No, he didn't marry Judy. First Lady Betty Ford was born on this day. No, actually, she died on this day in 2011 at the age of 93. She was born April 8th of 1918. And let's see, actor Ernest Borgnine. He was died on this day in at the year 2012 at the age of 95 in Connecticut. That's where he was born. That was as Hamden, Connecticut. That's where he was born. And he was born January 24th, 1917. So there you have it. And those are the days in history. Now, if you have any history that you want to talk about that I don't know about, of course, let us know, and we will gladly bring them out to you. That's this day in history. So thank you guys so much for being along with us. And I want to say hello to my sister-in-law, Katina Camp, out there. Katina, thank you so much for being here. And a happy, well, I'm not going to say it until tomorrow. I was going to say happy anniversary. I'll wait till tomorrow to say that. Okay, Mike Discus. Brian says Mike Discus, he's married. Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, this is a line of sports. I am Mike Dicta. Dicta. Iron Mike, they call him, Dicta. He got married to Diane Graham in Dallas County, Texas, back in 1977. So thanks for that information, Brian. And if there's any more information on this day in history, kindly let us know what's happening, and we will kindly bring it out to you. It's coming up, it's 16 and a half minutes to the hour. And just in case you're just joining us, of course, it's Talk Back Live. And of course, we're live here. And we come out of New York City. And that's a place, there's a place to be, isn't it? New York City, a place that never sleeps, 24 hours a day. Well, people do sleep. And of course, there are certain places that open really 24 hours. I mean, of course, the bars and the saloons, they close down at 4 a.m. by law. They're supposed to do that, as opposed to Las Vegas, Nevada, where they're open 24 hours, especially if you go into casinos, you drink to your heart's content, all night, all day, all night, every day, every night. There you go. But yeah, New York is a place to be. It's a nice town. Although a lot of people are moving out, going other places. Brian was once a New Yorker, but he decided to take it out. Greatest city in the world, Katina says. And I'll say that, yes, I'm partial to New York, the greatest city in the world. And I couldn't think of another city. I like to visit other cities, and they're good cities, but they, New York always had that title of being the greatest city in the world. So thank you so much for that. Okay, again, if you're just joining us, it's Talk Back Live, and I'm going to wave to more people out there, and especially for you guys who don't say anything, that's okay. As long as you're out there, whatever time you can give us each week, that would be appreciative. And if you're the first time listener, for the first time in your life, well, we're here each week, and you can make us your weekly habit. And we're always glad to have you along with us. Okay, so we did all the sports, and we did this day in music. And listen, have you ever checked out my show? I got a show, and of course, it's kind of still slow, but it's still there, and we're going to keep it going. It's my podcast. It's my podcast called The Blue Cafe. Now, the Blue Cafe, I right now only have 3 interviews that I did in the past, and the last one I did was in April, so we're a little slow, but we'll get more interviews coming along. There's a lot of things happening, and we have to put it on hold, but we'll have more interviews coming along. But in the meantime, we have 3 interviews up there that I think you're going to like. It's our show. It's our show, and each show, and we've got 3 hours worth of shows there. And the last show that we did was with Heartthrob, as they call him, teenage idol back in the '60s, Bobby Rydell. We did an interview with him, and it was a great interview. I enjoyed it, and he enjoyed it as well. And so it's right there. And we also did an interview with the '50s generation, which is called he's the '50s heartthrob, or as you would call him, '50s idol, the teenage idol, Jimmy Clanton. We did one with him. And these guys are all doing shows now. They're back on the stage and doing performances. Also, today's heartthrob or teenage idol or whatever you want to call it, Bobby Wilson, who happens to be the son of Jackie Wilson. Uh, we did one with him too. So we have those 3 interviews you might want to check out. And all you have to do, if you're watching us on Facebook, look up there, over here, down here, depending on how you're watching it, over there in the subject area. And way down at the bottom, where it says, where you can see it has the name of the show and today's date. And way down at the bottom, it says the Blue Cafe, and it has the direct link. And you can go to that direct link and just punch it up, and you'll see it right there. And you can see all of those interviews. So we have more coming along the way. We're just trying to, we were like, I guess, hiatus. We have so many things on doing right now, and we just have to slow everything down. But we'll have more coming up, and we're going to make sure that we do it as soon as possible, because we want to get some new interviews up there, because the ones that are there, we did those a long time ago, and the last one I did was in April. So and here we are in July. It's July 8th. Here we are, and we've got to get more things going. And we will. So anyway, check it out. Check out what's there right now. And then in the future, when we'll have more, we'll tell you more about that. Of course, we'll put it up there on Facebook, and we'll announce it. And you'll see it right there. It's the Blue Cafe. And everything is happening right now. Okay, you guys, I always at this time, give you information on all of the classic movies that I think that you would enjoy. And sometimes on the weekends, depending on what's going on, you may have good weather, bad weather. And if you have one of those weekends where weather is so bad you have to stay in, well, I usually give you all that information on all of the movies. Unfortunately, I only have one pick this week. I only came up with one pick, and you've probably seen it before, but it's a classic. It's a Sidney Poitier movie. I like Sidney Poitier, one of my favorite actors back in his day, back in that era. And Sidney Poitier he's retired now, and he's in his 90s, and but he left us a great legacy. But here's a movie that I think all of you would like. It was on before, but sometimes they repeat these movies, and I think it's well worth mentioning. It's called A Raisin in the Sun. It was back in 1961 when Sidney did this. And it's coming on Turner Classic Movies, and you could see it this Friday, and it comes on 4:45 p.m. Eastern on Turner Classic Movie. That's one of those movies. I'm not going to give it away. You have to check it out yourself, along with Ruby Dee, was in that movie. And it's just a great movie. It's all black and white. I love those black and white movies, And, and Ted Turner, and when he was in his infancy of Turner Classic Movies, he started colorizing a lot of these movies, which I can understand that you want to keep with the times, but there's nothing like the original black and whites that were intended to be black and white movies. I think they should stay black and white movies. A close friend of mine, found a copy of King Kong, and so what he did, he downloaded it, and he gave me two. He gave me a black and white version and a color version, so I could say, okay, what the heck, I'll check whatever I feel like checking out. If I'm in a color mood, I'll watch that. If I'm in a black and white mood, I love. But there's nothing like the original black and whites that were attended. They were intended to be black and white movies. There's nothing like them. And those old classic movies that you all enjoy. They colorize. I mean, Turner Classic, Ted Turner colorized Yankee Doodle Dandy with Jimmy Cagney, which is another movie that should just stay black and white. It's just that classic. And anyway, so those are the picks. So that's my only pick this week on Turner Classic Movies. And so Raisin in the Sun. Raisin in the Sun, of course, we have that. And again, that comes on Turner Classic Movies. And that's a 1961 classic with Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee. And that's at Turner Classic Movies, and that's Friday, this coming Friday. That's tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. I wish I had more, but those are my picks. But there are other ones. There are other ones. Now, if you don't like that one, of course, all you have to do is go on to the guide, the Turner Classic Guide, right? And you can scam right through it. Go right through it, and you might find others that you might like. But that was just my pick, and that was my one and only pick. But there are others that you might enjoy. Maybe some that you haven't seen before that you want to give it a shot, and you could always set it and later on DVR it if you don't get a chance to see them at the scheduled time. You can do that. But and then also, if you're a cable subscriber, you could also go to cable and check out the go to demand, right? And they have a lot of stuff on demand that you can go. And on demand, you have everything. You have all of the networks were there, so you could always go through the networks and find out what's cooking there. And of course, when you go to the networks, of course, TCM is there. You can go through the whole thing and look at all of those movies. And then, like I say, the other networks, ABC and CBS and all of that, maybe there's a show that you missed. It may be available there. You can check it out. And they have free movies and they have paid movies that you want to pay for that are up to date, that are on the market right now. And you don't want to go to the theater, which, by the way, the theaters are opening up too. So you could do that. So go through that and see what you want. And if your weather is sort of like inclement over this weekend, take the whole weekend and catch up on movies you haven't seen in a long time. Catch up on those movies. And I think you like it. So remember, that's A Raisin in the Sun with Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee on Friday. And that's tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. Election time is here, and here in New York, we're voting for mayor. So, and this may not mean anything to you if you're living in another town or anything, but we have finally two people. It's just clear now. Come everybody voted in the primaries, and they voted for their choice for mayor. So we got two. For Democrat, we have Eric Adams. I think that's his name, Eric Adams. And for the Republican side, Curtis Sliwa. Again, if you're out of town in another city, you may not know these people, but this is what we have here in New York. And so these are the two people. So when it's now the general elections, which is in November, they go back and you'll get a chance to vote for one of the two of those people. All right, so that's what we have. That's where we are here in New York. Wherever you're voting, whatever you're voting for, whatever kind of candidate that you're voting for, whether it's mayor or governor or whatever it is in your town, vote. There's election days all over the country. So everybody is voting for their favorite, whether you're Republican or Democrat. And if you are, let's say, an independent, of course, naturally you couldn't vote in the primaries, so you would have to wait to vote in the general election, which is November, and that's coming up. That will be here before you know it. So this is what we have here in New York. This is what we're labeled down. This is where we're down to. We have two candidates already ready to go. All they have to do is wait for the general elections, because these are the people we're voting for: Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa. And this is going to be interesting. Eric Adams was very vocal here in New York. We heard a lot about him. Haven't heard too much from Curtis Sliwa, so I'm not sure where he's going or what he's proposing, and what his take is on how he's going to conduct the city if he's elected mayor. I haven't heard anything from him, but I've heard from Adams, Eric Adams. Heard from him. And so we'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be an interesting run. I had no idea that Curtis Sliwa was going to run for mayor until the beginning of the primaries, when people started to vote, because nobody knew who was running on the Republican ticket. And he was the only one that was running on the Republican ticket. I'm not sure what that means. If you have one person running on the Republican ticket, when the Democrats, they had about what? They had I think four or five people, running on the Democratic ticket. And so it just turned out that Eric Adams it was the one. He won in the primaries, and he's ready to go. And Curtis Sliwa was already there. No one ran against him. And I guess that was kind of easy for him. So we'll see what happens. So, but anyway, what you ought to do is get out and vote wherever you are in your different cities, wherever you're voting for. You want to make sure that your city is working well, so you vote for the best person that's going to do you good. And of course, we've got 2022 coming up, so you know what that means, right? And then they're going to wait around for 2024. This is going to be we've got an interesting couple of years ahead of us, and so we have to see what happens. It's been told. It's been told that in August, Joe Biden is going to be out and someone else is going to be in. Okay, I'm just going to leave that one alone. But I can tell you, legitimately, you're going to have to wait around to 2024 to see exactly what's going to happen, who's going to run, and consequently, who's actually going to be the president of the United States. So we'll see. Nobody knows yet. We'll see. It's a long time. We got a long way ahead of us. But right now, I think the thing here in New York and in your town, you're voting for another an elective official, whoever that is. It could be mayor, governor, or whatever, But here in New York, I do know for a fact we're voting for mayor. So we'll see how that goes. Once again, thank you guys for being along with us. I am going to get out of here. It's time for us to kick rocks, as they would say in the business, kick rocks and get out of here. But I thank you so much for being along with us. And we are going to be back here tomorrow. All right. I'll be back here tomorrow at, of course, 10 a.m. Eastern. All right, for the coffee hour. And on the coffee hour, Brian Camp, of course, will be here with his part of the 2020 feature. And he'll be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports. And not only that, DJ Pete, for his 2020 feature, I haven't heard from him yet, so I'm assuming that he's going to be here live tomorrow. We'll have to see about that. But he'll be here if that's the case. If he's not here, of course, we're going to cover it for him. He will give us information on his take on celebrities, but I like to call it people of notoriety, that recite all of those birthdays and give histories and things like that. And don't forget to check us out then. And don't forget to check out my show. Again, as I repeat, it's called The Blue Cafe. Go down there, go to the, you see it right up there, and hit the button, and it's right there. Other than that, I'll be back here next week, and we're going to do it all over again for Talk Back Live, 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's going to be you, me, and all of us together. And I hope you will be here to join us. Until then, guys, have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and a wonderful night. And take care. God bless you.